So an emotional post here, and I don't seem too emotional, so it's because I took a deep breath and gathered myself, but I wanted to stay in front of the flag here of Scotland as I communicated this, and it goes out to those people who feel like they're stuck. Maybe they don't feel like they know how to move forward. And so we hear so many things these days about mindset and about gratitude and happiness and all this other stuff. And some of us feel stuck, and some of us feel we don't know what to do. And maybe we feel like life is happening to us and not for us because we feel more like a victim of circumstance and of other situations. And I'm reminded of the scene, not the scene where William Wallace is rallying the troops and he's like, what will you do for freedom? Because that one gets you pumped up and gets you motivated. But the person who needs to see that isn't the person that I'm talking about. The person I'm talking about today is maybe that person that feels like they've, we have conversations with people all the time, and they feel helpless or they feel useless. They don't feel like they have positive impact on other people. and it's hard to hear and really like listen to these people, because you know that they've had positive impact and you know that they deliver value and they have worth, and but it's tough to convince one of these people that they have. And when I say these people, I'm not being condescending or anything, because I've been there and I get there, because you want to do great things and because you want it to be perfect, like you hear in a song or that you see in a movie or you read about in a book, and it doesn't always quite end up looking perfect in that way, but it is perfect and that you can overcome this. But the scene from the movie that I'm talking about today is the one where William Wallace is at the end of the movie. And you'd think that'd be the end of the movie, but really that's kind of the beginning of the story for almost really for his impact, not on, like the body has a sympathetic nervous system and then you have a parasympathetic, and it's almost like his parasympathetic response on the rest of the country. And he's laying there and the executioner is standing there and everybody, and he's got a bunch of his friends and his supporters in the crowd, and they're hiding, right? They're hiding because if they were there and they stood out and they said that they're a supporter and they said who they were, they would be captured. So strategically, it doesn't make sense, but they're there. You know, your supporters are all around you. Like maybe they're hiding, maybe they haven't stepped out, maybe they're waiting for that one opportunity when they can seize the moment strategically. So his friends are there in the crowd, and they're all saying under their breath or quietly, like, mercy, 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 because they're hoping selfishly that that William Wallace says mercy, so that he is spared kind of the pain, so to speak, of what he's about to experience. And then the executioner says, because they're not worried for him necessarily, probably, you know, but they don't want to have to experience that themselves. It would be easier. But then what would he have lived for, right? And so there lays William Wallace, and he's grasping for air. And the executioner says, you know, the prisoner would like to say a word, and everybody gets quiet. Just one word, everybody's gotten quiet for. And they're all expecting to hear mercy. But that's not what he's lived for. And so that's also not going to be the way that he dies. And when he gets the breath, he yells out freedom. And you can see it on the executioner's face that he knew that's what he was going to say. He was hoping he would say mercy, but deep down he probably respected and was envious of William Wallace for actually being willing to die for what he lived for. And he yells out freedom. And like, it still gives me goosebumps, because he knew his cause and what he would do when given the opportunity. And there he was. The thing, though, that I think is the most important, and I'm going to step away from the flag here. The thing that I think is so important from that scene is the fact that it's not that he didn't say mercy. It's that he said freedom and that the executioner had it wrong. And boy, did he have it wrong. He wasn't a prisoner, that's the point. He was never a prisoner. They didn't capture him. They didn't capture his movement. The only thing that they did was by resisting it, they actually fed into it. And so right now, when you're unclear and uncertain of yourself and you're not sure whether or not you're bringing to life the greatness that you feel like is within you, and then you doubt yourself maybe, imagine you're there and you're there right now. What are the things that you're telling yourself that is making you feel like a prisoner? How could you feel like you were liberated? Because you were here for a purpose. You are on this earth to deliver good, to add value. And you do possess that capacity within yourself. It's just a question of finding one of the many things that you could do greatly here. And looking out into the crowd, you have supporters out there. They might be in hoods, they might have hats on, you might not be able to see their face or wearing sunglasses or whatever. Maybe they step back a little bit strategically because they're waiting for you to speak up and to make that command with what you are going to stand up for instead of sitting down for that. Because you can demand more of yourself and start believing in it and showing it. Show yourself the appreciation. Treat yourself better. Get the rest that you need. Get on a schedule. Feed and fuel into your focus and start to learn the things that make you happy that don't hurt other people. The things that make you happy that don't hurt other people, they immediately and automatically, sustainably and forever will add value because they're doing no harm to anybody. And so right now, the only person you're doing harm to is yourself by not believing in yourself. Remember, you are not a prisoner. Regardless of the circumstance or situation, you are not a prisoner. You have freedom to make your own decisions and to figure out what your values, beliefs, and principles are, and then get them in alignment so that you can move forward in a meteoric rise to the greatness that right now that you can't even imagine that you're capable of. And realize what the things are that you have in your life that can get you choked up in ways. I have real life memories in my head, and then I don't know what you want to call them. There's a movie that they had these things called precogs that could see what was going to happen in the future. They just had them tuned in for crime, but like if you imagine of the future and then almost remember the future before it happens, that's what you want to do. What memories in the future will you want to have that are good, and start remembering them instead of holding on to some of the old things that the way it used to be. How about the way that it could be? Thinking about that and then feeding that. That's what you want to do. And yeah, that's all I had to say. And I just I wanted to record this to put this on YouTube today because I know I've had conversations every single day with people that are giving up on themselves every day, just a little bit at a time, just with the habits that they have, the things that they think that they're addicted to. And because they've convinced themselves to feel that they're addicted to that, they can then make a decision that they're not addicted to that. That's completely within their capacity to. And anybody who tells me otherwise, that somebody's not capable of doing something, they do not know what we're capable of. And limitations they're not something that I'm willing to allow into my world for the most part. So if you were limitless with your capacity to grow and to do great things, what would you do right now? where you stand with your opportunity. What's that next action? Just do that next action and believe a little bit more in yourself. Gain a little bit more real confidence, not bravado, not this ego type of self-esteem that's not real, but real self-confidence in a positive way, in a good way, in a way that you know that you add value to a situation. You know that you're somebody that other people would want on their team because you will bring more to the table for everybody because of you. And think of William Wallace in that moment. He could have said mercy. And it wouldn't have diminished his impact of all the things that he had done before. However, it would have changed what people did in the future. So what we do right now in this moment is really your opportunity when the executioner is standing there and saying, you wish to say a word. What is your word? And knowing your one word, as corny as it sounds, what is the one word that drives you? What is the one word that inspires you? What is the one word that you are always running towards? And when you think of that one word, that power word, so to speak, that word that creates resilience within yourself, that creates fortitude, that you're willing to fight for, if you're a fighter, if you're not, that you're willing to stand for. In a peaceful way, for those who are not fighters, that's fine. That you're willing to stand up for and speak up for. What is that? And when you get clear on these things that make you happy, these things that drive you, it is much easier to show willpower and then also to create habits and a framework that allows you to not have to use as much willpower so that when you need to go to the, iron will situation, you can. So be grateful for those things in your life. And I'm grateful for movies like Braveheart and the lessons of William Wallace and so many other great characters throughout the course of time where we can really pull from, their stoicism and their life experience to help benefit us and benefit the ones that we work with, the ones that we love, and really pay it forward in this life because you can do the same thing. And I'm confident in you. So I truly hope that this last 13 minutes has been useful for you and that you heard at least one thing that connected you to the thing maybe that you could start doing more of today. And the biggest thing is to start showing yourself that you believe in yourself and dedicating to a higher standard of living. And if you were here on purpose with great intention and there was great intention for you, then what would you be doing today? And go do that and do as much of that as humanly possible and in a sustainable, progressive way. Love you all and get that word and breathe it to life.